This is the Experienced Optimist, and this is kind of like an addendum to the video I made earlier when I was talking about the Air Force pilot who got married twice and he was getting ready to get married a third time. Well, in the conversation, the host was talking to the guy and they were talking about marriage, and he said that on the first marriage it's like a 50% divorce rate, and then the second marriage it's like a 70% divorce rate. And then he said, well, you're on your third marriage. And I think the third marriage is like, I don't know what it is, like 90% or whatever. And and then the guy asked him, the officer, the pilot asked him, he said, no, those are just averages, right? And then the lawyer says, yeah, they're just averages. And he's like, but I'm not average. Insinuating that this third time this third time it's going to work out. And this is the problem with a lot of men. A lot of men have a blind spot. They think that it's not going to happen to them. And I'm of the belief that men really aren't logical. Men can be logical when they're building a bridge, they can be logical when they're putting in the electrical work. But in a lot of areas in life, men are not logical. So, for example, when the guy said um, the 50% of the first marriages end in divorce and 70%, the pilot didn't register because he said, "Oh, I'm not average," but he is average because he was one of the guys who got divorced a first time, so he was included in that average. And then he was one of the guys that got divorced the second time. And not only did he get divorced the second time, he also had to pay a lot of money to his ex-wife because he started a business with her and all this other stuff. So this guy had to pay up an exorbitant amount of money to his ex-wife, and he still didn't learn. So now he's going into his third marriage, and most likely his third marriage is not going to work. So a lot of guys ask, well, why do men always fall into these traps? Why do they have like these mental blocks? So I was doing a little research, and I found out it's similar to how con men, when they con people, they always look for people with blind spots. It does not mean that you're not intelligent. It does not mean that you're dumb or you have low IQ. It's just that you have these mental blind spots. We all have them. I have them. I felt fallen for a lot of cons in my life as well. And they use this to get over on you. And in this one, in psychology today, I pulled it up on Psychology Today. It explains, it says that con, con artists often prey on people's trust and their propensity for believing what they wish is true. So if you go back to this pilot, this Air Force pilot, this leader of men, he wishes that his new engagement and his marriage is going to work out. So what a lot of women do and society does really is just that when you're young, you're told these Disney fantasies that you're going to be this Prince Charming, and then you're just going to find this Cinderella type woman, and then everything's going to work out for the better. And you grow up, and even if you're a leader of men, you go to West Point, you have a PhD and all this stuff, it doesn't clear out this blind spot that happens. So then you have this Disney wish to be happy, that you're going to go through society, you're going to be a leader of men, you're going to help these women, you're going to save society, and society is going to appreciate you for this. But this is not what happens. So then I found this other article, and it went on to explain um, why our blind spots help essentially allow con artists to take advantage of us. It states, we are, after all, the best deceivers of our own mind. At each step of the game, con artists draw from a seemingly endless toolbox of ways to manipulate our belief. And as we become more committed with every step, we give them more psychological material to work with. Everyone has heard the saying, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Or its close relative, there's no such thing as a free lunch. But when it comes to our own selves, we tend to latch on to that probably. If it seems too good to be true, it is unless it's happening to me. And this is what happened with that pilot. For everyone else, it's true. But for me, the leader of man, the double MBA, the West Point graduate, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen to me. So it goes on to say, we deserve our good fortune. I deserve the big art break. I've worked in galleries all my life, and I had this coming to me. I deserve true love. I've been in bad relationships long enough. I deserve good returns on my money. At long last, I've gotten quite a lot of experience over the years. The mentalities of too good to be true and I deserve are unfortunately at odds, but we remain blind to the tension when it comes to our own actions and decisions. When we see other people talking about their unbelievable deal or crazy good fortune, we realize at once that they've been taken for a sucker. But when it happens to us, well, I'm just lucky and deserving of a good turn. And this is very important right here. We get a unique satisfaction from thinking ourselves invulnerable. Who doesn't enjoy the illicit glimpse into the life of the underworld and the satisfaction of knowing that clever old you would be smarter than all of that? That you can laugh at the poor sap who fell for something so obvious and still safe in the knowledge that you are keener, savvier, more cynical, and skeptical. And yet, when it comes to the con, everyone is a potential victim. Despite our deep certainty in our own immunity, or rather because of it, we fall for it. That's the genius of that great confidence artist. They are truly artists, able to affect even the most discerning connoisseurs with their persuasive charm. A theoretical particle physicist or CEO of a major Hollywood studio is no more exempt from that 80-year-old Florida retiree who guilelessly signs away his retirement savings for a not to miss investment that never materializes. A savvy Wall Street investor is just as likely to fall for a con as a market neophyte. A prosecutor who questions motives for a living is just as likely to succumb as your gullible next door neighbor who thinks the Onion prints real news. And this is what I notice a lot of people in society they prey upon, especially women when it comes to men. They prey upon this blind spot that men have to want to believe that it's not going to happen to them. And I was listening to Coach Greg Adams talk to a guy called Mr. Palmer about child support. And Mr. Palmer calls these women baby mama terrorists because they get into child support court and they know they have all the control and they use that against the father. And this is what society does with men. They know that men think that they're big and bad and they can fix about any other problem. So when you go into court and you're fighting for your kids and you're fighting to reduce child support, they know they have you by the balls because it was the first issue you had was being overconfident that you as a man can handle any situation. So the deck is stacked against you in your own mind before you even go into child support court. So when you go into child support court, they just use the laws against you. They know that you already have this mentality that you're a man, that you can fix everything, that you'll probably just go along to get along, and that's where you get screwed. So the only thing that you can do is not play the game at the beginning. I think it's time for men to stop thinking, saying things like, hey, I'm not average and this is not going to happen to me, and really look at the statistics and actually think logically about what's happening in child support court, what's happening in these marriages, and just not partake in it at all. But anyway, if you like this video, like, subscribe, support other MGTOW channels, and I'll talk to you later.